Hi, folks. Welcome. Online Learning Hurry, Volume 11. 11 episodes already. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you guys about all these issues. It's been super fun so far. The thing I want to talk about today is the idea that you can't teach that on the internet. You hear it a lot, and I understand the frustration, and I know that for a lot of people, when they come to this, they think about the experience that they've had in an online course or the things that they've seen online. They have this vision of what's possible on the internet, and they know that what they care about doesn't fit into that vision. That's a totally reasonable perspective. But that version of online learning, it's possible, it's not the only one that's out there. So I think what I would suggest, rather, for those of you who are being confronted with this, who are looking maybe at the summer or maybe even at the fall and thinking that your particular topic or field doesn't translate super well to the internet, to sort of take this opportunity, maybe after the exams are done in a couple of weeks, to think about what it is you're really trying to get done inside your course. What are the things that you really want students to come to know, right? And maybe separate the idea of the skills they need to acquire from the literacies they need to acquire. It's entirely possible that some of the skills, the physical, tangible, replicable skills, are things that they're not going to be able to get on the internet. So if you're involved in mechanical engineering and you have to physically build something large with a welding torch and whatever, that part of it's going to be difficult to do on the internet, I will grant you. Another good example, I'm in a play that's supposed to be going on in June, probably going to be postponed at this point. It's very difficult for us to practice harmonies on Zoom with 15 people in a room. I mean, these things are hard to get done, but there's lots of things we can do. And there's a lot of pieces of character development that we can really work on online that we can only do when we take on that perspective that it's possible to get some of this done. So I think if you can separate a skill, that physical replicable thing like a harmony match or like the welding torch, away from the literacy, the coming to understand about a field, you're going to have better success in trying to get this done. So if you can look at something and say, what are the things that professionals in this field understand? Maybe not a definition, but something that you understand. Like if you talk to another person in your field and you talk about this particular issue, everybody kind of knows that, right? A perspective, a mindset that you have as part of your field, and think about what those are, and then how you can promote a discussion amongst your students that can have them come to terms to being able to get to that point where they themselves can actually engage in a conversation as a professional inside your field. It may mean that you have to redesign your courses. It may mean you have to go back to your department and say, look, we're going to have to split this piece out and recover this piece later. We're going to have to split the lab out of this course and have it be something that comes up later. Or we're going to have to go ahead and say, maybe you're doing something that requires people to do coding and physical coding stuff when you've got hardware stuff. And maybe instead of a textbook, people are going to have to buy a $50 Arduino set and get it inside their house and work at it from there. There are a lot of different ways to approach these challenges, but I think the key first step is to think about what the objectives of your course are, not from the perspective of what you've done before, not from the perspective of how you've seen it taught, but from your perspective as a professional. What are the knowings that somebody needs to be able to come to be able to do that work? And it may mean they pick up the physical skills later. It may mean that you find a way for them to do it inside their house in a way that's clever, or in a way that somebody else hasn't thought of before. But a lot of these things are possible to get to. The biggest shift for me is the shift away from content, right? So if what you're looking for people to do is acquire content and prove to you that they have that content, it's going to be hard to do that, particularly from an assessment perspective on the internet, right? Because they could be copying it from somewhere. They could be searching it on Google. If you change that perspective and you say, what I want you to do is come to your own understanding of this that's separate from everybody else's, that's just your own. Then that searching on Google and that sort of finding out what the rest of the people in the field are doing becomes an advantage. It becomes the actual outcome that you're looking for. So those shifts in mindset, I think, can be really useful in terms of looking at that. Do I think that there are definitely things that can't be taught online? Skills, absolutely. I'm not sure that that's true about literacies. when you actually get down to the deep, complex understandings of the field, as long as we can communicate with each other, as long as we can interact with each other, I think we can find a way to get there. Good luck, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.